Just for this, could we have some subtitles put on, please, so that I can understand what's being said?
I'm a posh guy, so don't worry.
Yeah, it was a hat trick, but it was 2 penalties. One that you definitely didn't deserve, and the other one, well, that was just Rodrigo trying to tackle, wasn't it?
Because we need the points more than you guys, so I'm sure you will. Dude, we're fired up there. Do you know what I mean? You guys, battle for 10th, who's bothered? Do you know what I mean? You'll let us have these.
Hey, we can get into Europe, yeah? Don't write us off. Hey up, Leeds fans. It's another massive game. That last game was pretty good, wasn't it? Man City. We are about to play Liverpool at home. The reverse fixture was an incredible game. My God, I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Let's hope that this match is going to be anywhere near as good as that. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. That would help us out. And if you like this video somewhere along the way, like the video. Give us a thumbs up. All right, here we go.
The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions.
Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all. The Roaring Peacock Podcast.
Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock Podcast. This is the match preview of Leeds United, greatest team in the world, champions of Beelzebub, saviours of the Premier League, against Liverpool, the team that reached such great heights but are now falling like the mythological Icarus. So my name is Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me. Thank you for joining us. And joining us is Wiggy, our mate.
Good evening, we all okay?
The long return of Wiggy.
Hi, it's been a while. It's good to be back.
It's been a hot minute, my friend.
Hi.
So Wiggy obviously representing the mighty Whites. Did I mention the best team in the world? And the stranger in our midst, the red among Whites. It's John Gibbons from the Anfield Wrap.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it. And
Yeah.
strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. So, you know what I mean? Here we are.
Oh,
Here we
look
all
at
are.
this. Buttering us up already.
Just for this, could we have some subtitles put on, please, so that I can understand what's being said?
I'm a posh guy, so don't worry. I'm a posh guy, so it'll be fine.
Speaking of Scousers, Adam Forshaw is back.
Amazing. Who
Right.
knew he was still a Leeds player?
I didn't even know he still existed. John, do you know anything about Adam Forshaw? Do you know he exists?
Very little, to be honest with you. Very little.
Okay.
He's an incredible young talent coming through our under-23s playing tonight. We can't wait to see him go.
So, as ever, the format will be looking at recent results then. So we're not going to bother with the Champions League because it's a Mickey Mouse competition for fools, basically, isn't it? Isn't it, Wiggy?
Yeah. Well, champions what?
Yeah, exactly. Champions Leeds. We were the champions. That was good. Liverpool as well. And then we will look at the reverse fixture. We'll have a little bit of a dabble with predicted lineups. We'll talk about the ref and VAR. And after all of that, I'll ask you to make your score predictions. So, John, our listeners and viewers know a lot about Leeds United. So let's start off with yourself. Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. How was that?
Nervy, to be honest with you. Our home form was obviously poor going into it, lost 6 in a row. And so when we went 1-0 down, it was very much, here we go again. Equaliser ruled out for our friend VAR just before half-time. Had found the toenail offside 17 minutes earlier in the move, so had to sort of call it out. So we were like, here we go again. But they managed to turn it around. And look, last-minute winners are brilliant, aren't they? Just sort of, what you're in it for, even if we obviously can't be there to celebrate the moment. So they got through it. I'm not going to pretend they were brilliant, but they got through it, and it was very much a needed win and a very much a welcome one.
Seems to be quite some parallels between our last previous 2 games. Wiggy, Manchester City 1, Leeds United 2.
Oh, I mean, what can you say that hadn't already been said? It was just incredible, wasn't it? For a game that had, for us, nothing in it really, other than pride, to go toe-to-toe with the champions of this season and absolutely smash it out of the park. I'm not just sure that this Leeds United side plays fabulous football, but this Leeds United side can really defend and can put itself behind the ball and can then play really, really attractive counter-attacking football in that final minute to score that goal. The whole of Leeds, you could hear just roar. It was fabulous, yeah, and I'm still buzzing. Can you tell?
Yes. I can a little bit tell.
It's incredible. I'm just so excited still. Every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, how did we do that?
I think the whole city's in the same way, Wiggy. John, how did you watch the Man City Leeds game?
I didn't. I had it on the radio, old-fashioned radio. I was doing a bit of driving around, so I was enjoying it. But yeah, some results, and obviously not just that, but with the 10-man situation just makes it sort of even more incredible. And you just wait for City to score. Well, I was, and then obviously they did, and he thought, oh, here they go, because they just get it done, don't they? And they're so hard to play against with 11, never mind 10. So some results. It's been obviously an exciting season for you guys. Well, that feels like the headline one, certainly from where we're sitting, the sort of headline results of so far. So incredible stuff. And hopefully you got rid of all your luck last weekend and hitting the bar and the post and everything in between this weekend.
I would say, like, you're right, we were down to 10 men, backs against the wall, and then they scored, and you're almost like, oh, we've done so well for this long, but they're going to nick another now, and that's it, But we played well, and you would still be happy. But to then, go into extra time and just run up the other end, and you could see, couldn't you? Like, Stones was knackered, but Dallas, he could have run back to Leeds. He absolutely could have. Still had it. And he was just flying up there, and yeah, it was mental. It was brilliant. I would say that it wasn't luck, though, just to be clear. I think it was a fantastic tactical bit of nous from Bielsa to let them play through the middle by Stones. Didn't create anything. There was plenty of shots from outside the box, but we'll have our luck on Monday if we need to.
Yeah, we pushed them out wide, didn't we? And they had 36 crosses, and they were crossing into the Sterling and Jesus. And let's face it, they're not the tallest lads in the world. They're not renowned for their powerful headers, are they? I think it was a tactical masterclass, really, in the end. And we could have won it, gone up there and won it a couple of times. Rafinha had those. It was just so good. What can I say? And like, I spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes running around, and that's me done. I might look thin, but I'm not very fit at all. And Dallas, after he scored, he's legged it to the corner flag and punched the corner. Oh, it was so good. What can I say?
It was amazing.
But speaking of lucky, the reverse fixture, Liverpool got 2 penalties. That was quite lucky, I thought. Especially the first one, where they changed the rules a week after.
I mean, they change the rules every week, don't they? The handball ones, it seems like. I don't know what handball is or isn't anymore. It's a crazy situation. It feels so long ago, that, doesn't it? And it felt like, it was behind closed doors. It was like, oh, we'll all be back in stadiums soon. We still are. Sort of still not there. But I do remember Leeds played really well that day, and I think surprised a few people, and I think, had they done obviously well to sort of, come up as champions, and people knew, a bit about what they were about. But there's one, there's saying what you're about and playing that way in the championship, but coming up against the champions as we were then, I assured everyone, and putting in that performance. And I think they turned a few heads that day, certainly, and not least amongst Liverpool supporters.
Wiggy, the most watched game in Premier League history.
And what a game it was. We absolutely just showed our arrival on the big stage, didn't we? It does feel like a lifetime ago, but I can remember it like it was yesterday. Just this utter feeling of just pure excitement that we're going toe to toe with the champions. And it was, we were sat there thinking, we're probably not going to get anything for this game, so we just hope they go and play really well. And they just went and played really well. And you were disappointed that we didn't get anything from it. And it was just, I can remember because it was the rules had relaxed a little bit and you could go to the pub. So I went to the pub with our kid and a few friends, and it was incredible in there. Like, I've never known an atmosphere like it when Leeds scored that first one. It was really good in terms of having us all six to a table and the social distancing. Then when we scored, it was rules out the window. Everyone got crazy. Everyone spread the virus everywhere, then sit back in your six and be okay again. It was brilliant.
We had the ball in the back of the net, I think 5 times as well. So there were a couple of disallowed goals. So the story of the game was really built around it was the start of the season and Liverpool had looked impregnable at Anfield. I mean, you guys looked like you'd been playing a different sport. You know, you were that good on such a different level for the past 2 seasons. And yes, we'd been doing something similar, but it was a level below. And yeah, just that excitement to see our team competing with you guys was incredible. But what I want to ask you, John, is Liverpool have been so good for the last 2 seasons. What has gone wrong?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, look, the injuries have been well documented, and they've not been great. You know,
I knew you were going to say injuries.
I knew that was coming. I've got our injuries ready. Don't you worry, Donny.
Listen, just because you know the correct answer, that just means that, you know, it's like asking what's 2 + 2 is and moaning when I say 4. I knew you were going to say 4. Do you know what I mean? Look, it's been a big part. The injuries of centre half have been sort of disastrous, really. But it isn't just that, is what I was going to say. The intensity of the team's also dropped a little bit, and I think they're a team that is at the best when they're playing 100 miles an hour, is at the best when they're in opposition faces and making it difficult. And for whatever reason, be that part injuries, part a little bit of motivation, part, you know, playing at a certain intensity for so long, you know, that just, you know, it naturally sort of drops like it did for City last season, to be fair, and then they sort of bounce back. Maybe it was sort of all going to happen. I think it is difficult for any side, you know, especially when it's more or less the same group of players, to sort of keep going season after season. Maybe there was always going to be a dip this season, but I think that's been, you know, accelerated, if you like, because of the injuries and because of the sort of empty stadiums. Really, it's just sort of all led to a bit of a malaise at Anfield. And I think the hope is that Liverpool can bounce back from it, and it's not something more sort of long term, or it's not something sort of more worrying than that, really. That, you know, as I say, City last year, they looked dawned, then this year, only a couple of new players in, and they look sort of back to the best. So the hope is, amongst Liverpool supporters, it's more of that rather than something a little bit more worrying, but time will tell.
Okay. Just on that injuries thing, Van Dijk and Gomez, they're probably your 2 main centre-backs, aren't they? And a lot of the talk has been around your centre-backs. You lost 7-2 against Aston Villa with Van Dijk and Gomez at the back.
Yeah.
So it's been going on a lot, you know, this conversation, obviously, like what's going wrong with Liverpool. Everyone's talking about Liverpool and the injuries. And I really don't know, because we've had how many injuries have we had, Wiggy? How many different centre-back partnerships?
We've had probably north of between 5 and 10 different partnerships. Definitely. At different points in the season. Oh, well, there you go. There's me with my stats wrong. There's me.
well, we're on 20 if we're counting. 20 different centre-half partnerships. Three out. It's Joe Matip as well is out for the season as well. So it's 1, 2, and 3 fair choice. And look, it's not ideal. And I'm not saying that we've got the monopoly on injuries.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it has something that sort of really affected us. But then, you know, there's Liverpool fans out there who say that, you know, we looked a little bit short there, and it was an area we should have strengthened in the summer. So maybe it's sort of their own fault. Obviously, they had to go out and get a couple in January, and one of them in Quebec sort of done all right. So maybe he should have been in there in August, and we wouldn't have had to play so many midfielders there.
I think, from my perspective and looking at it, it just looks like Liverpool have fallen off a cliff. Like, it hasn't just been a gradual decline and you're still in and around second and third and pushing for the title. It looks on paper that it's been a real shit season for you. And then I think the other point is on the injuries front. I think the media focus a lot on injuries that are happening with City, with Liverpool, and with all your big teams, but never, ever mention the injuries happening with your teams lower down the Premier League. Like, they never mention the fact that we had, a right back playing at centre-back with someone who's never played in the Premier League before. It's really biased towards that. And it's not your fault, John, and it's not Liverpool's fault. It's just the way the media portray things is bizarre.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we always put the needle in to our opposition fans on the previews. And I think that that's the only way to do it. That's the Leeds way. That's part of us coming up saving the Premier League. But this is more of a situation with the pundits, I would say, because all of the narrative around our club was Bielsa's naive, where you need to defend in the Premier League, etc., etc., etc. And all of the narrative around Liverpool was, oh, poor Liverpool, vigils for Virgil, and how could they have done this to the great Liverpool? Anyway, so Liverpool 4, Leeds 3, 22 shots. You probably deserve to get something out of the game.
Said begrudgingly.
But we outpossessed you, 52%. So does that happen very often, John? Do you get outpossessed that often at Anfield, especially?
Probably not at home, no. I think, look, we're sort of a fairly direct team is what I'd say, and especially in an open game. And so we are a team that will look to create chances quickly. So we're not a Manchester City who will sort of, look to dominate the ball all the time and pass it around, almost for the sake of it. It feels size with some teams. We are a sort of direct team, but I think it's rare, for us to have less possession at home than the opposition. And I think that just goes back to what I said right at the top, was how impressive sort of Leeds were, and how it's one thing saying you're going to play a certain way, but another thing sort of fully committing to it, really. And I think that's what Leeds did on the day. And then even, having gone down in the games, to sort of, to stick to your guns and stick to, this is how we're going to play. And I think that's what I've liked about Leeds all year, to be fair, is that they've stuck to the guns, and they've had some flack, do you know what I mean, from certain places, and I've been sort of quite surprised about it, really. It feels like everyone's ready to put the boot in to Bielsa and the team as soon as the defeat happens, but maybe a little bit quieter when these great results come. So, I'm Team Bielsa, don't worry, and I think, Leeds have been really good fun to watch, and in a year where we've had very little to do but watch the endless football on telly, I'd rather watch Leeds United play than, a lot of the teams in this league. And I think they showed that sort of straight from the off in that first game.
Yeah, and for all of us saying that you've had a bad season, you've still got 7 points more than us.
But it's funny with us because, I remember going we managed to get to some games in December. They opened up the stadiums for a little bit, and 2,000 fans went to 3 games. And I went to the one against Tottenham, which was the second one. And we won 2-1. We scored a goal for me, and we went 5 points clear, and that was in December. So it's funny. It's like it's been this sort of bad year, but I thought we were going to win the league that night. I was like, City was struggling. We were 5 points clear at the top. I think someone might have had a game in hand or something, maybe Leicester, but I was like, we're flying here. We've coped with the injuries, and I don't know sort of what happened over Christmas, really. And that's where I think the stuff around the injuries maybe is fair to kind of say, well, it can't just be that, because those guys were injured there, but we managed to weather it. And at some point when it just started going wrong, I think they started to just, I don't know, feeling a little bit too sorry for themselves. I don't know, maybe sort of bought into the narrative a bit too much. But as I say, by December, we were looking fine, but it just sort of all went a bit wrong sort of over Christmas, and maybe when the game started coming a bit thicker, I don't know. And I think they feel a little bit too sorry for themselves for a little bit too long, but we're just hoping we're on a decent one now. We've quietly won our last 3 in the league, and so we're going into this with a little bit of form, so we shall see.
Do you know what it is? I've worked it out.
Yeah,
It's clock burnout. It's clock burnout.
Clock burnout.
Happy Christmas, clock burnout. That's what we'll call it. That's what we're going with.
They've clocked out. Clop outs.
Not only is it that bad that you're there, you're where you are, it's the fact that you're going to lose your Champions League spot to West fucking Ham. Like, that is just dire.
Well, listen. There's no shame to losing out to David Moyes, football genius, the Moyesiah, the chosen one, as they called him.
We've all got a
Manchester
copy
United.
of Moyes' book. You know, any serious student of the game does.
Serial winner, David Moyes. You know, how are you supposed to compete with him?
Right. So let's talk about some predicted lineups then. For Liverpool, this was the lineup against Villa. You think it will be the same? So Alisson in goal, Trent on the right, then Phillips and Kabak, the 21st centre-back partnership or whatever it is. Robertson on the left, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Milner in the middle, Salah, Firmino and Jota.
Yeah, the back five will play in terms of midfield. Fabinho will play. Wijnaldum has played pretty much every game, so you'd expect him to come in. The third position is a bit more for grabs. It's been rotated a little bit. Thiago obviously came in with a lot of fanfare and then picked up an injury himself. And then since he's come back, he's been a bit in and out of the team. I still really like him, but the manager's not picked him last 3 games now. So we shall see sort of what happens there. Milner's come in and done really well recently. He probably hasn't played enough this season, considering the sorts of injuries we've had and the problems we've had around sorts of leaders. He probably hasn't. I think he's been a bit underused. Obviously, he'll love going back to Ellen Road, and so there's maybe a shout to sort of pick him. And then the front three, we've got 4 really good forwards on paper. He was struggling a little bit on the pitch, a couple of them recently. So Sadio Mane doesn't play in that. Whether he comes in for this one, he in Europe, and so we shall see. So I mean, Salah plays because he's been the bright spark this season in terms of goal scoring. So it's Salah, and then it's 2 of Firmino, Mane, and Jota. And I wouldn't like to guess who he'll go with, but it'll be 2 of those 3.
There's other clubs that Milner could have gone to where he might have got more game time, maybe closer to his heart.
Yeah, well, maybe that'll happen this summer. Who knows? It's a little bit of a shame, but as I say, he started him last couple of games and he's done really well. So maybe he'll be back at Ellen Road Monday. He'll certainly get on at some point.
Okay, Wiggy for Leeds then. Meslier in goal, Alioski on the left, Cooper, Laurent. Oh no, not Cooper. Stroud.
No. Yeah.
Sparke and Llorente in the middle, Ailing on the right, Phillips at defensive midfield role, Costa, Rafinha looks like he's out. So that would make Harrison come in. If not, it'll be Rafinha and Jackie Haradonna, no doubt. Tyler Roberts and Stuart Dallas in the middle and Patrick Bamford up front. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think there's still some debate, isn't there, whether it'll be Sparke or Koch, but I think it will be Sparke. There's obviously the injuries to Rafinha. If he's fit, he probably does start, and then it's between Costa or Harrison. I thought Costa had a really good game against City and probably would feel a little hard done by if he found himself back on the bench. But having said that, Harrison's been on a fantastic run recently. So again, he's well in contention. So obviously if Rodrigo's out, it's too early for Forshaw. So yeah, I think you're pretty much bang on. We'll see. He always likes to spring a surprise or two. So let's see what comes on Monday.
He does indeed. It's very rare, though, to be fair.
Yeah, very, very rare. He's very consistent, but against City, no one were expecting Rodrigo not to be there.
That's true.
As an example.
So Leeds have conceded 52 goals in 25 Premier League matches against Liverpool, more than against any other opponent. So seems like we're due a clean sheet, Wig.
100%, and we gifted them 4 earlier in the season. So if we keep a clean sheet now, that's 2 a game. We'll go with that.
Right. Okay. So ref watch then. Anthony Taylor. Do we have any love for Anthony Taylor, John?
No, he's a Mancunian, isn't he? Like they all seem to be. Half the Premier League. So no, he's not a favoured one. At Liverpool, whenever we get a referee from Greater Manchester, we always seem to struggle with them.
Very similar to us, actually. The only thing going in his favour is maybe he hates us equally. And on VAR, Mike Dean.
Good old Mike Dean.
Yay!
Oh God, there's no good referees left, is there? I can't think of one.
No, I don't think so. Right, we've looked at recent results. We've talked about the reverse fixture. We've done predicted lineups. We've done ref watch. So now you should have everything that you could possibly need to make an informed match preview score prediction. So, John, and for the benefit of any new listeners or viewers, you will guess the score. You will get 1 point for guessing the correct result. So a win, draw, or a loss. You'll get 2 extra bonus points for predicting the exact score line. And you get a bonus point for each correct goal scorer you name. But to stop you gaming the system even, and naming every player on both squads, you get -1 point for each incorrect goal scorer named. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you don't have to name any goal scorers. Totally up to you. So with all that in mind, John, what is your match preview prediction?
I'm going to go with 2-1 Liverpool. And I will say Mo Salah will score as he normally does this season. I got a hat-trick, I think, against you guys earlier in the season, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go with Mo Salah for 1 and a 2-1 victory for Liverpool.
Yeah, it was a hat-trick, but it was 2 penalties. One that you definitely didn't deserve, and the other one, well, that was just Rodrigo trying to tackle, wasn't it? That was our record transfer. Can't even say it. £27 million worth of tackle that was.
He was just introducing himself to our fans.
Right.
Showing how keen he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phillips had told him, go in really hard on your first tackler. The fans are going to love you.
Yeah, you'll get a song after you if you do it. Do it.
You'll get a mural.
Yeah, not there. And then he does it. He's like, no, not there. Don't do it there.
Not like that. Okay, Wiki, your prediction?
So I'm going to go with a draw. So 2-2. I think there'll be a couple of goals each way. Obviously, I was not very optimistic last weekend when we were playing City, but this weekend I'm much more optimistic. We've got we say a free hit. I know that people don't like that, but it is. We've got a free hit at the current champion, so let's go for it. In terms of goal scorers, I think Roberts is due one, so I'm going with Roberts.
Roberts?
Donna, he's due one. He's been playing really well the last few games. The only thing he needs is a goal. So I'm going with Roberts, and that's it. I'm leaving it there. I would usually go with Harrison, but I just don't know whether he's starting, so I'm going to keep with Roberts.
Okay, so John predicting Salah to get his 20th goal of the season to make him the first Liverpool player to score 20 goals 3 seasons in a row. There you go. Some stats for you. Bloody
hell, look at you doing your research.
I'm on the PremierLeague.com. It does it all for me, really. I spend too much time with stats.
Yeah.
Okay, so final thoughts then, gents. And John, if you could, I guess you've already said how you found Leeds. I normally ask the opposition fans what they've thought of Leeds so far this season, and then just some final thoughts.
Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to the game. I think Liverpool will have to be really good to win. I'm hoping that they will. I think Liverpool obviously need to win to try and get top 4, so I think they'll be up for it, and I'm hoping they'll just do enough. But shame I can't go. I do like going to Ellen Road. I've had good and bad experiences there as a supporter. I prefer the 2-0 in the FA Cup, I think in 2001 or 2002, and much more than watching Mark Viduka score 4 goals past us, which I was at as well.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I was there for that masterclass. Don't worry. We went 2-0 up in that game as well. We went 2-0 up.
Beautiful sunny day.
It was gorgeous. Because they used to. It was Leeds away was always really early, like in the day as well. Like I'm sure one of them was in the morning, 11:45 kickoff one year. But yeah, I was at the 4-3, but also the 2-0 FA Cup victory, which is a brilliant win as well. And we went on to win it that year actually as well. So good and bad. So real shame. I can't get there. Well, none of us can get there, but you're just staying up, aren't you? So we'll all get it next year. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. Hopefully Liverpool can do the business because we need the points more than you guys, so I'm sure you will. Dude, we're fired up there. Do you know what I mean? You guys, battle for 10th, who's bothered? Do you know what I mean? You'll let us have these.
Hey, we can get into Europe, yeah? Don't write us off. Hey, look at this. He's writing us off already.
I'm not writing you off. I'm just saying that, maybe you'll do us a favour.
Do you a favour? Why? What do we owe you?
Generosity. Hands across the M62.
Not convinced there. I actually don't think it would be good if we got into Europe, to be fair.
No.
I still don't think we owe Liverpool any favours.
No, definitely.
I'm not expecting any, don't we?
Wiggy, final thoughts?
I think it'll be a really, really good game, another really good one. I think our boys are in this situation where, like we all want as fans, you look at the 3 games last week, this week, and next weekend, where we were all like, oh my God, we better be safe by that point. We are. They can go out and they can really enjoy it. So that's what I want them to do. I want them to go out and play that free-flowing football that we saw against City before we got a man sent off. So that it's a real open game. Hopefully there's some goals. And yeah, I think, look, whilst Liverpool are not where they've been the previous season, they're still a fantastic team. They're still fighting for the Champions League at the minute. So I think they'll give us a really good game. And like John said, it's just a shame that we're not there to witness it live. But hey hopefully next year.
Yeah. What a shame it is for Jimmy Milner as well. He would have waited such a long time and he would have got such a fantastic reception. Okay, if you enjoyed that podcast, you can find us on Twitter at Peacock's Roar or on YouTube if you're listening at The Roaring Peacock. My name's Adonis and you know me as at The Adelites on Twitter. It's a very good bye from me, and representing the Mighty Whites, The Roaring Peacock, it was Wiggy at, what is it, Wiggy 1234?
Yeah, you forgot it. God, I haven't been gone that long.
You've been gone less time than 4 show, to be fair.
It is, yeah, at Wiggy 1234, and goodbye from me.
And representing the Anfield Wrap and Liverpool, it was John. Goodbye from him.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Come on, Leeds!
Come on, Leeds! On!
Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. A very special thanks to Barney Stewart Cook, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on your mind.